If you've been watching these readings for a while, you know that I like to err on the side of not going full on romantic with a reading, but I do get a feeling that this reading for most of you is about a romantic offer of love. Hello and welcome to your tarot forecast for the Scorpio full moon 2023. We are in the midst of eclipse season, and this Scorpio full moon has a lot of energy around it. Scorpio moons already have a lot of interesting energy around it. Sometimes they can be kind of uncomfortable, and with it being an eclipse, it's gonna get real. Things are gonna come out of the woodwork to make you grow, make you heal, make you change, and make you look at your shadow side. So if you are new here, hello and welcome. My name is Michelle Shea Walker. I'm an intuitive coach, a Reiki healer, a Reiki teacher, and a yoga instructor living in Chicago, Illinois. And I do these readings on the full and new moon every month. There is an abbreviated version that you're probably watching on YouTube or Instagram, and then there is an extended reading over on my Patreon. So if you want to get the most out of this reading, like and subscribe where you're watching so that you infuse your energy into the cards. And then if you want even more out of the reading because the initial cards resonate for you, head over to patreon.com/Michelle Shea and join the monthly mystic level to get access to these extended readings, both on the new and full moon every month. Without further ado, we're going to dive in, and our first card is going to be, as usual, from the Total Betty Goddess deck. So this is the Total Betty 2.0 edition. It is not released to the public just yet, but there are pre-orders available over at michellesheawalker.com if you would like to pre-order a copy. And it's 90s icons playing the goddesses. So I've already pre-shuffled and pulled the cards just to keep my energy more contained because I could anticipate that this was going to be a very scattered reading. And the card that we pulled is Ariande, played by Christina Ricci as Wednesday Addams and the Addams Family Values. This feels very appropriate for Scorpio energy just because there's a little bit of darkness to this character, but it also feels appropriate for this eclipse transition because it is about carving out your own path and sort of creating a place for yourself in the world. So this Scorpio full moon eclipse feels like it's the ending of a cycle. Scorpio is very familiar with endings and death and being familiar with the nines in numerology. And this eclipse is really kind of a symbolic closing out or death of an area of your life that no longer serves you. And this card is kind of indicating that we're moving from a place of uncomfortable adolescence into more mature adulthood, but that doesn't mean that things aren't going to be a little murky still. But know that you are coming into a place of being more self-possessed, and that's the most important thing for this card, is you're really stepping into your own power by embracing your own brand of weird. Whatever that is for you, do not let the outside world change because you seem a little off or a little different. That is the biggest message that's coming through underneath this Scorpio full moon, is that you are coming into your own, but the reason you're coming into your own is because you were willing to stick to your own unique sensibilities and styles and ways of viewing the world. So with that in mind, we're going to move into the energy and advice cards that I pulled from the Modern Witch Tarot. So this is the extent of the abbreviated reading. After that, we'll dive into about 10 to 12 more cards over on the Patreon. But we're going to give you a little preview of what the energy is with these normally 2 cards, but in this case, we're going to have 3 cards because we had 2 cards jump out together. So first up, we have our energy card, which is the Knight of Cups. I immediately got an offer of love being very clear from this card. If you've been watching these readings for a while, you know that I like to err on the side of not going full on romantic with a reading. I like to remind you that just because love is in the picture doesn't mean that it has to be a romantic love. It can be platonic love, it can be self-love, it can be inner divine feminine and divine masculine union. And it always is the latter. If you're calling it romantic love, it's because you found some sort of balance or some sort of union within yourself with your divine feminine and divine masculine. And that's why the outside world is reflecting that back to you. But I do get a feeling that this reading for most of you is about a romantic offer of love. So if you are currently in wait of a relationship, you might find something new coming in for you. If you're in a relationship, you might find that there's sort of a renaissance there, or just a peace offering after a fight, or just an appreciation that shows up for you. And your job is to take that offer of love and recognize your worthiness of it. So that's the biggest thing I'm getting from this occurrence is yes, you might find a beautiful little romance that's happening. But because we are coming from this transition from an ending to a new beginning and embracing our own weird, recognize that whatever offer of love is showing up for you is showing up because you have honored yourself so well in this transition. And the outside world is mirroring back to you the love that you've reflected inwardly. So don't lose track of that when this offer of love shows up, because we do sometimes have a tendency to work on our self-love, work on our self-love, and then when the outside world shows up, we pour all of our energy into that and we get distracted from our self-love practice that we'd established. So this is about trying to keep a balance between these two things. So as the outside world starts offering you love, don't put all your eggs in that basket. Remember, the reason that that's here is because you put so much work into your own self-love. So make self-love practice your priority, and then let the outside world reflect that back to you on a consistent basis. With that in mind, our advice cards came out in twos. So the first one was the Knight of Swords, and the second one was the Queen of Swords. So these two energies are a bit of a fight against one another in this situation. I get the feeling that this offer of love is going to come in and make you want to dive in head first. You're going to want to go head over feet, just all in. Let's go. Let's move this forward fast. But the Queen of Swords is about boundaries and recognizing that not everyone is worth your energy. So I almost feel like there's going to be multiple offers of love coming in, and you're going to have to use your Queen of Swords discernment to figure out who's worthwhile of your attention. If that's not the case, it could be that the person that is coming in with this offer of love is going to seem really enticing at first, but there's some stuff underneath the surface that you really want to look at, because Scorpio energy is all about what's hidden underneath those rocks. So pick it up, look at the creepy crawlies, look at those little roly-poly bugs, and know what you're getting yourself into before you follow this Knight of Swords diving in quickly energy. And that could be as simple as asking the other person their intentions, to create an open dialogue for what everyone is in the situation for from the very start of things. And that's really going to help you to go in with your eyes open. And you may not be on the same page about what you're wanting, but at least then you can decide whether you want to take that chance, take that risk, take that step. Because you are moving into a new arena. So if someone shows up with something different than what you thought you wanted, with intentions that you didn't think were part of your plan, it might still behoove you to go that direction, because that might be what your next chapter is about. But you want to make sure that you know what you're signing up for. It's also Mercury retrograde, so this almost is getting me an imagery of reading the fine print on a contract. So any relationship that shows up in your life this week, treat it as if you are signing a binding contract with this person on an energetic level. And you want to make sure that you've read the fine print so that you at least know what you're getting into. You don't necessarily have to fully agree with what's happening with that fine print, but you can make the decision that it's okay to make that compromise or to soften your boundaries there. Or you can make the decision that it's a non-negotiable for you and you're not going to sign up for that contract. That's what the Queen of Swords is about, is making sure that you have boundaries around what's important to you, but also warning you to soften the boundaries around the things that might be more negotiable than you first thought. So if you're dealing with a relationship, be it old or new, that feels like it's a new beginning, that you're coming from a place of sort of romantic adolescence and into a deeper maturity in regards to the way you're viewing your relationships, and this relationship is asking you for something that's different than what you thought you wanted, this reading probably is for you. And that means the extended reading is also for you. So if you're not already a Patreon member, head over to the links below and join the monthly Mystic level. You get access to so many other goodies, including the full moon event that's coming up this Sunday after this full moon. We do group therapy every Sunday after the full moon, which is a live Zoom Q&A with the cards. So it's basically almost a one-on-one reading, but it's in a group setting. So we have an intimate group setting, and the energy of the group supports your questions and your manifestations. So even if you show up on the call and you don't ask a question, I guarantee that the group energy is going to reflect back to you something that you need to learn. So if you get this extended reading, you also get access to that this coming Sunday. And if you're watching on the Patreon, the rest of your reading starts right now.